All right, it is my pleasure to kick off today's content with Jason Vegotsky, president of KushCo. This company has revolutionized the way cannabis is rolled, packaged, and branded on a global scale. And this guy has a great name. So everyone, let's please welcome Jason.
Hello. All right, thank you. This is great actually being here. Good afternoon, everybody. When Nick, our CEO, told me I got to go do the keynote at Benzinga, I thought he was absolutely out of his mind because he usually sends me to, like the Alaska Cannabis Conference. I had Missouri Valley Cannabis Conference on my list. So really excited to be here, really excited to share a lot of the learnings that I've had over the course of the last 2.5 years in cannabis. But before I do that, being that a lot of you who know our company are used to seeing Nick up here, I want to just quick give a background about me and how I got to where I am today. So most of my career was spent in the wine and liquor industry. Grew up around wine and liquor distribution in the state of New Jersey, and really cut my teeth there, got to understand brand building and distribution strategies and all those things. And unfortunately for my dad, who was my partner when I went into the sales there, I just got bored, and I'm an entrepreneur at heart. So after 4 years of kind of cutting my teeth there, went out and built a CPG brand, actually in the beef jerky space. Spent 5 years doing that, beef jerky of all things. People are like, how the hell did you get into that? Actually, some random guy in a Wegmans tapped on my shoulder. Guy went to Duke, UCLA Law, and he was like, I left everything to start a beef jerky brand. So I figured he was crazy enough, and I partnered with him, went 50-50, and we built this brand for 5 years, and in Publix and Sheetz and Wegmans and all over the country, and made every single mistake you could possibly make as an entrepreneur. Had a down round, thought my valuation was 25x more than it should have been, had no idea what type of people I needed to bring in, and ultimately that experience, although we had a nice exit and things went well for the brand, the experience and the ups and downs set me up for success of my next venture, which was starting a cannabis company. And actually our VP of Corporate Development, Stephen Christofferson, is here. He was my CFO at the jerky company called Lawless Jerky. And he was like, I'm out of this, man. This thing was too crazy. And he went on to work in traditional banking on the buy side for a little while, but he introduced me to his neighbor. His neighbor had a gas contract for butane. Anybody know what butane is? Butane is one of the solvents that turns cannabis into oil. Okay, and I saw an opportunity because all of the big providers of this gas were Praxair, Airgas, Linde, multi-billion-dollar companies, and they weren't servicing the cannabis space. Not only did they not service it, they stuck their nose up to it, and drivers wouldn't go there, and it was just a major challenge for folks, even in mature states like Colorado and Washington, to get butane. So started a company called Summit Innovations. We kicked off, it was only about 19 months ago. Built it to a $6 million run rate in 6 months. Became the first national provider of hydrocarbons to the United States. And decided to move from Philadelphia to Colorado. 2 days after moving my whole family, I got 3 kids, moved to Colorado. I get a call from Nick Kovacevic at Kush, and he goes, listen, dude, we both played hoops. We should do a deal, man. And ended up doing a deal 9 months into our company's existence, bringing Kush Energy, what it's now called, but Summit Innovations, to Kush, and providing another arm of the business. But the ability for me to start this company, cut my teeth as an entrepreneur in the space, has allowed me to be more successful as I got to Kush. So today I'm the president and chief revenue officer at Kush. If you don't know, we just put out some earnings, $35 million in our last revenue for Q2 in our fiscal. And at Kush, we're becoming somewhat of the middleman for the entire industry in the sense that we have every customer. right? We sell something to just about everybody in the space. So whether you're looking to invest in the space, whether you're a brand looking to get bought, whether you're a big multi-state operator or an LP that are looking to do some M&A in the States or in Canada, a lot of folks are coming to us, and specifically me, to say, hey, what's up with these guys? What do you think about this? Because nobody can hide from me, right? I see what you buy. I see how much you're buying. So when you tell me you're doing X amount of revenue, but your purchases are only this, you can't really trick me, right? I get to see who's paying their bills. I get to see who's not paying their bills. I get to see who's having cash flow issues. So we have a really interesting perch on this industry that I think gives me an interesting perspective that I really want to share. Whether you're an investor here, whether you're a multi-state operator, whether you're a regional brand or a Canadian LP, everybody is looking to grow their business. And for Kush in particular, this has been one of our biggest challenges. But I think we've got a great hold on it that's going to propel us to the next level as we continue to grow in the space. So what I want to talk about is the keys to building a management team. And when I get a ton of deal flow coming my way, Nick gets a ton of deal flow, Kush gets a ton of deal flow, and every single time with what I know from building a business in cannabis and selling it, and now working at one of the largest public companies in the space, it all comes down to management teams in this space. Okay, so I see there's 4 key needs that if you're going to invest in a company or you're growing your own company in this space, you must have. And this dynamic I have not seen in any other space out there. So number 1, you need to have entrepreneurs in your management team. Okay, this is by far the most entrepreneurial industry I have ever seen. Okay, there's no behemoths out there. Maybe cannabis is a behemoth, but outside of that, there's really no behemoth. So whatever you want to do and whatever you want to set your goals to be, you can do. When I was in the beef jerky industry, I wanted to be a huge beef jerky company, but couldn't really get past this company called Jack Link's, right? They've been there for 50 years. Nobody's been here for 50 years, right? You can do whatever you want, and that opportunity makes an entrepreneur salivate. That's why everybody's pouring into this industry, right? There's an unbelievable white space, whether you're in technology, whether you're in sales, whether you got cannabis products, whether you're ancillary. Opportunity is everywhere, and it's a perfect feeding ground for entrepreneurs. So obviously, everybody knows entrepreneurs have to be on the management team. Number 2, you have to have some corporate experience. So Nick and I never really held too much of a real job. It doesn't work for entrepreneurs like us. We just brought in our CFO, Chris Tedford, right? Chris Tedford, public company, NASDAQ experience, has been doing this for a long time. Our COO comes in from Nike, Samsung, GE, was a part of the GE training experience, right? So for me, as an entrepreneur, I can get people really excited to work for me. I can go sell anything to anybody. But for me, just how do I structure my day? We're a $35 million company on a per quarter revenue. We're getting very big. I hired 125 people last year. You can't just go willy-nilly around and live life like a $10 million company. And you got to provide some structure around that. So our COO has made me better, right? Our COO, last job, was revamping Nike's supply chain. He comes into Kush, he's like, this is easy, right? But more so, he's provide the experience and the knowledge to be able to take somebody like Nick and I and say, here's some corporate experience. I'm going to make you guys better by adding this. Because I went through the GE program. I've been at Nike. I've been at Samsung. I know what I'm doing, right? And now he comes to Nick and I and he goes, holy shit, you guys move fast. You just made that decision? Like, yeah, this is cannabis. You got to be able to move extremely fast and be able to move. So the entrepreneur and the corporate leader has to be able to work together really, really well. And their 2 brains are wired totally differently. Okay, and I'll get to what brings this all together at the end. The 3rd piece is some legacy knowledge, and some people will call it some black market knowledge, right? Cannabis was being grown and sold long before any of us wanted to invest or be a part of it. And we have some folks on our team that's been doing it, was doing it, no longer doing it, but have some knowledge and the pain and the struggles and the community that they've been a part of for way longer than I've been a part of it, helps me better adapt to my customer, helps me better adapt to what the pains and the struggles were, and gives our corporate leaders and our entrepreneurial leaders an unbelievable perspective of who came before us, right? And now what we're doing today. So you gotta have some sort of knowledge of that on your team to really ground you, right? Because this is pretty damn cool, right? This is an unbelievably fast-growing white space that we're all able to be a part of, right? And there's a lot of people who are doing a lot of crazy things before this to bring it to the attention of a national platform for this to go legal. The last piece, if you put the entrepreneur in a room, a corporate GE guy or Nike guy or whoever it may be in a room, you put your old black market guy in a room, those three guys aren't going to do very well together. I guarantee it. You're going to have a lot of struggles. You're not going to be able to make decisions very fast because their brains work totally differently. So the fourth piece and the most important piece is some leadership from that group. Somebody has to stick out and somebody has to bring that entire group together, okay? And somebody has to get that group to gel extremely fast to be able to move at the pace that cannabis moves. And I think our CEO, Nick, myself, some of our other leaders bring our group and our team together so that we're able to make decisions, we're able to move on those decisions, and most importantly, we're all on the same page so that we can go and execute extremely fast, okay? All of this is important for a couple reasons. We're all here because of opportunities that are in this market. I have never seen a space where opportunities come along and they go away like that, right? They're here and they're gone before you know it because somebody else pounced on it. You're not the only one thinking about investing in cannabis. You're not the only one thinking about growing a big cannabis company. I get 100 calls a day. I see all the customers out there. Everybody's trying to do the exact same thing, and everybody's seeing this thing. The folks that can come together as a management team and make decisions really fast and execute extremely fast are the ones that are rising to the top right now. And that's the difference when I look at our 3,000 customers, when I look at the Canadian LPs from the side that I get to see of how they operate, when I get to look at the multi-state operators, it is extremely clear very, very quickly who has this camaraderie on their management team, who has the right pieces, and who can move extremely fast. So as you're here this week, or the next couple days, as you're talking to different folks, looking at investment opportunities, I would advise to take a look at the management teams, okay? Whatever the business plan, whatever they pitch you, whatever they tell us, it's going to change. It's going to change extremely fast. This thing pivots faster than you can ever imagine. But it's the management teams, and it's that group of corporate leaders, entrepreneurs, black market knowledge, and unbelievable leadership that allows companies to take advantage of the opportunities extremely fast. With that, I wish everybody a great couple days. I'll take a couple questions if I have some time. Anybody? No questions? That's good. That means I did a good job. Okay.
What do you find is the biggest challenge between the entrepreneur personality type and the corporate personality type, and how do you overcome it?
Risk. Entrepreneurs like to take risk. The question was, what is the biggest difference between an entrepreneurial of how they're wired, an entrepreneur and how they're wired, and a corporate leader and how they're wired? Risk in making decisions. Entrepreneurs have to make decisions extremely fast. They have to go make decisions they really don't have a lot of people to lean on. Corporate leaders, they typically make decisions rather slow. They look at things very closely, right? I love making the perfect decision, but I always tell my team, I'd rather a great decision fast than a perfect decision slow, because the opportunity is going to go really quick. Good.
What do you see as your biggest challenge at KushCo and for the industry?
Our biggest challenge at Kush is raising enough capital to keep up with the extreme growth. Whatever growth number we want to put up, we can put up, right? But without traditional financing, I don't even have a credit line. I came from a $1 billion wine and liquor distribution company that had a $1.5 billion line of credit from Citibank, right? We do $35 million a quarter in revenue. I got $40 million worth of inventory, and people try to take advantage of us with ABL facilities and other credit instruments. So that's where I have to lean on corporate leadership to say, hey, that's a bad deal. We can find something better. I'll take one more. How do I trust people? How do I gain trust? How do I gain trust from people that have been basically underground for a long time in this industry? That is all about being an expert and diving into this industry. When I go into some of the meetings where I'm sitting down with a California operator that's been doing cannabis 30 years before me, he knows terpene profiles that I didn't even know existed. They look at me like, who's this dude from the East Coast coming in here, right? And after 10 minutes of talking, he goes, oh shit, this guy knows way more than me. I should probably listen to him. Right? So I think it's the knowledge and being able to understand every single part of this industry that allows you to earn the trust of the space. That's all the time we got. I'll be around all day. Got some meetings. Love to chat with everybody. And thank you for the time.